Hey everyone, we're going to talk about something super exciting today. We're going to be talking about chatbots. So let's start off by talking about what chatbots are and why we're talking about them in general. So today we're going to talk about the types of chatbots, understanding how chatbots work, and then next steps. So why are we talking about chatbots and why am I so excited about it? Because a lot of scenarios today are moving towards utilizing GPT and OpenAI capabilities for creating bots. And the reason being is that ChatGPT itself, that got more than 100 million visitors in the first week, was a chatbot. People like to chat with it. People like that type of interaction where they can chat with it or even chat with Bing Search, for instance. So we're going to understand a little bit more about what that means, and we're going to see a demo of how we get started. And then as we go through this series, we're going to focus on how do we make our chatbots more intelligent by making them able to talk to other systems. So if we look today at the different types of chatbots, we have basic bots, which are really ChatGPT but without a memory. It doesn't have that conversational feel. And this is what we're seeing more and more today in the market. However, it's not very useful. It's just what I call a glorified search. It's a search that looks like a bot, but it doesn't really have that conversational feel. The second thing is adding memory to it. As soon as we add memory to it, it becomes more conversational because now it remembers what you've asked it and it can refer to it when answering the next question. The third one is where we want it to be able to talk to external sources. And now this is third and fourth really, because external sources can be either talk to a search engine, an external search engine, or another way of doing that is talk to your own data. So how do we make it talk to our own database or our own data that lives in our own database? And finally, and this is where things like ChatGPT plugins come into play, we're going to talk about how do we embed skills into it so that it not only knows how to talk and how to respond to you through searching or through your database or searching external sources, it can also do transactions on your behalf. So let's get started. So how do chatbots work? So the most simplistic case is a human being asks the chatbot a question. It then goes to ChatGPT, asks that question, responds back to the user. This is the most basic scenario, and this is what we're going to see in today's demo. And this is not really very useful in a lot of scenarios just because ChatGPT and GPT itself knows nothing about the world after September 2021. So anything that needs more recent content, that is not enough. And that's where something like Bing Chat comes into play, where you can chat with a more recent version of the content, and we're going to understand how to do that. But in order to do that, you really need to change the way the bot thinks, rather than just going to ChatGPT here. As you can see in this example, or as we've seen in the previous example, it can go to its own memory, it can go to a database, or it can go to an external search. And we're going to learn how we do that and how do we make that more resilient as well. So to get started, let's see a demo of what we're going to be accomplishing throughout this set of sessions. So I have here a basic ChatGPT-like experience. I have here the default, and I'm going to ask it a very basic question. What is 2 plus 2? It's going to answer me that 2 plus 2 equals 4. Now, let me ask it something a little bit more complex, like, what did I ask you before? Now, because it has memory, it can return back to its memory and ask and answer and say that you asked me what is 2 plus 2. Something a little bit more complex, we can go to search, for example. And here I'm going to start asking it more complex scenarios like, what is LangChain? Now, if I were to ask that same question to ChatGPT, it wouldn't even be able to answer. And we're going to see that in an example. So let me just compare one to one. So I'll open ChatGPT on the side here. And I'm going to ask it, what is LangChain? I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with the term LangChain. However, my bot here was able to answer. The reason being is that it was able to go and ask external sources. In this example, it's Bing Search, and return a result back, and then answer on that using that data that it acquired or that knowledge that it acquired. Same thing if it's a database. If I were to go here and ask it from a database, I will say, who is Paul Gray? And this is actually going into my database that has information about Paul Graham and coming up with that answer from there. So this is what we're going to be learning. We're going to also be learning more things as we talked about skills and how it combines different skills using something called LangChain and semantic kernel.